Okay, I came just in time with the song Imagine, huh? So we will start. I think that we will have some more that are coming and they are on their way. So good evening. Today, as we commemorate the Holocaust, we are reminded of the darkest chapter in humanity history. From 1938 to 1945, Adolf Hitler's regime unleashed a reign of terror upon the Jewish people, deeming them unworthy of existence. Under the banner of Nazi Party, they systematically constructed concentration camps where unspeakable atrocities were committed. Jews were stripped of their humanity and forced to endure suffering. They toiled in freezing conditions without adequate clothing or footwear and were subjected to grueling labor. Innocent lives were extinguished in gas chambers, squeezed as showers, and families were torn apart by the cruelty of execution. Medical experiments were conducted with callous disregard for human life, leaving scars, both physical and emotional. Today, we gather to listen to the voices of those few survivors who bear witness to the horror they endured. Their story passed down through generations serve as a solemn reminder of the depth of human depravity and the resilience of the human spirit. We pledge to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. Discrimination and hatred have no place in our society. The phrase "never again" must not be a mere slogan, but a steadfast commitment to safeguarding the rights and dignity of all people, regardless of their background. At Makom, we believe in providing a place for everyone under the sun, but we must stand united in our resolve to eradicate the scourge of evil from the midst. Today, we are honored to hear from Mr. Ranny Radar, who will share who will share his mother's story, the story of Sara Miriam, who was only 3 years old when the Holocaust began, serves as a poignant reminder of the resilience and strength of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable adversity. Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
First of all, I want to apologize that I need to do this lecture in English, which means I have to translate in my mind all the time from Hebrew to English. So maybe from time to time I will be stuck, so my apologies at first. About me, I'm, as you know, Ranny Radar. I'm Mickey's son. My mother actually had names all over her life. She was born as Sara Miriam Levin, and during the Holocaust, when she was hidden from the Nazi regime, she was named Maria Rensenbrink. Her fourth ID was by this name, and her cover story that she fled She was a refugee from the big bombardment in Rotterdam. And a nurse found her and transferred her to Den Haag. To her aunt. And she lives with her uncle and her aunt and her grandmother in Den Haag. Which means our story actually happened in the Netherlands. And it begins on, my mother actually was born to her parents. Danny and Leo Levine. She was the third daughter. She has an elder sister, Bertie, and her old brother, Shlomo, and she is the youngest. And she was born in 1937. The picture is when she was 2 years old. At the beginning of the war, she was sat on the balcony and saw downstairs the march of the Nazis occupied march in Den Haag. Den Haag is actually the one of the main cities in Netherlands, and she told her mother, "Mommy, come look this beautiful march. Everybody's saluting." And she saw her mother crying. And she said, "Mommy, why are you crying?" And she said, "This is a very bad march. This could be our very end." At 1942, which means 2 years after the occupied, my grandfather, Leo, he got a letter from the regime that he should be a teacher. His profession was a gymnastic teacher, so he should be come with his family to a camp that it's like a working camp. Sorry, it's a working camp that all the Jews are supposed to be there and work. And he understood that this is not a working camp, and he understood that this is could be the end of the family. And he was prepared for this day. Everybody has his own suitcase with his own possessions. And at the very moment, they disappeared. They spread to families that the Dutch resistance was ready for it, and they fled to those hidden places. And my mother went with Grandma told that she will become a grandma for the rest of the war. And she she they told her that she's gonna stay for 2 weeks with the Rensenbrink family, that she knew them. And of course, those 2 weeks become some years. The Rensenbrink family, this is Miss and Jan, the married couple that didn't have children of their own, and they become her parents. As I told you before, like she was her niece that fled from that was refuge from Rotterdam. And she was in their house with Tante To, and To, in Dutch it's Tante To. And Tante To was actually, she was a member of the resistance, the Dutch resistance, and she organized the children and the Jewish people. She organized the hidden places, and she organized the payment that those families who hidden the Jews received from the regime, from the resistance, to save those souls. And of course, she was like a grandma. She took my mother with her from time to time, and it was very fun for my mother because she was insulated in this house, and all of friends were the dog, Fly, as you see, and there was a statue of human head, an old head, at the end of the stairs, made by wood, and he was a friend also. And of course, her two dolls that she brought from with her, and that's how she was managed to live by telling stories and to have some kind of childhood in this isolated house. But from time to time, Tante To took her out with her. One of the time, my mother said that she remembered that she walked with Tante To at the street, and Tante To told her, stay by this electric pole and don't move. I need to go to this building. And she said, why can I come with you? And she said, no, you can't, because there's a sick child there, and it's very catchy, so you can't get in. And she stood on the street, in the street, near this electric pole, and she looked up to the window, and she saw a woman standing by the window and watching her. All the time that she was waiting for Tante To, the woman stood in the window, and she saw that she put a curtain to see her, but to hide her, but she saw her. She saw her staring at her through the window, and she didn't understand why this woman staring at her. after the war, my mother told her that she was in a very bad mentality place. And she was, because all her family actually fall apart. And and what the Torah actually did, she put her there for my mother to see her, for her mother to see her. And she said it actually saved her because it gives her back life, back spirit to be to know that her family is out there. They're not gone, they're not disappeared, they're out there. In the meantime, she realized that my grandfather was captured by the Nazis and was sent to Auschwitz. And she understood that she will never see him again. And she will need to go on for her for her children. In the summer of 1943, the Rensenberg family sent my mother to a village to live the summer, during the summer, with some Christian family that she didn't know. But it was quite fun because it was summer and there were children, as you see, and she was playing, and it was a very good friendship. And there was food because in the Netherlands, the situation was there was quite hunger because the Nazis took all the resources of the citizens and used them to fuel the war machine. So in the village there was food. And after this okay, and one day my mother been told to go to the milkman to bring some milk. And she was sitting with the milkman and she told him, "Are you a friend of mine?" And said,
Really terrible. My grandmother. Remembers everything. All of it. Very, very sad.
Okay, so she went to the milkman and she told him, "Are you a friend of mine, aren't you?" And he said, "Of course." And she asked him, "Do you know how to? Can you keep a secret?" And he said, "Of course." So I will tell you my secret. My name is not Maria Renzenbrink. My name is Sara Miriam, and I'm a Jewish. And I live with the Renzenbrink family because my parents sent me there. And at the evening, the milkman arrived to the Renzenbrink family and told them, "Listen, the girl is talking. She told me that she's Jewish. I'm not allowed to live with that information. So I'll give you 48 hours. Otherwise, I will have to tell the Nazis that she's even there." And of course, my mother resisted. She didn't want to go, and she was crying, and I want to stay, but they told her this is a matter of life and death. You cannot stay here anymore because you revealed your secret. And we need to transfer you to Annie, Miss sister, that you live with her. She has a daughter. Just a second. What was her name? It's Aunt Annie and Uncle Ali and her daughter Messi. That you will live there. And my mother went to bed, and she was in a very bad mood all the time, and she was crying, and this family didn't much gave her comfort. This Annie was punished her all the time, and she was very bad to her. And she all the time asked for mom and dad, which is Miss and Jan, because she almost forgot her own parents. But one of the days she was playing with Betty, a neighbor, and they were playing seek and hide. And my mother find Betty, and Betty told her, "Because you find me, I will tell you a secret that I also wet my bed." So my mother told her, "Okay, now I will hide, and if you find me, I will tell you my secret." And it's happened again. You promise not to tell, and promise not to tell. So I'll tell you, my secret is, my name is Sara Miriam, and I am a Jewish girl that hidden with the Tante Betty family, Tante Annie family. And she said, okay, now I will count and you will hide. And she walked by, and my mother asked her, where are you going? We were playing. She said, no, I have to go, I have to go. And of course, at the evening, her father arrived. He said, I'm a Nazi cooperator, but I don't believe in killing children. So get rid of this child, because otherwise I won't have any choice to reveal her. And of course, again, the resistance got into the picture, and they found a new family for my mother, and she was hidden there. And for my mother, it was very easy to hide, because she easily blended in. She easily blended in the population because she was with bright eyes and blonde hair, and she easily blended in, but her age was against her, because only 3% of the children in that age, in that the children who started the war in 3 years old, only 3% survived. And for example, her brother, that as you saw before, he was brown and he had curly hair, and he was of course circumcised. So it was very hard to hide him, and they in his family they put him in a big desk. There was a big drawer, and they put him in the drawer, and he was hidden in this drawer during the day, and at night he was getting out. There was also a story about him that one day his family didn't, the first family that he was hidden there, they didn't want to keep him anymore, and they gave him his suitcase, put him on the street, and they sent a message to the resistance that we don't keep him anymore, and if you want to find him alive, he's staying in the street in this address. And he stood there for 2 hours. In this time, for a brown curly boy, this is the death sentence. And by miracle, the resistance found him, and they hid him again with another family. So for my mother, she was transferred again to another family, and this family was she went to Uncle Ya and Aunt Nell and the daughter, and granddaughter, Ricky, and there was the grandma, there also a young mother, also in this house. And the aunt, he had a factory that produced sent sacks for the Nazis. And he was a kind of a cooperator, but he took my mother under his wing as a kind of, how you say it, insurance. But if if at the end of the war, they will tell him you were a cooperator, you will say no, you saved this little child, and I'm okay. And of course, they were rich, and they had food because of they were close to the regime, and but the resistance paid months after months for keeping my mother. Anyway, May 1945.
Yeah.
What?
He's saying, yeah. He's alive.
Yeah. I'm alive.
Oh, so a lot, she lived through it, yes.
So glad. At the end of the war, the grandma, there were rumors that the Americans are starting to liberate Netherlands. And the grandma was making sweaters by red, white, and blue stripes like the Netherlands flag. And of course, in May 45, when the Americans, actually the Canadians, liberate Netherlands, they were marching, and the street was full with people and throwing flowers, and it was a very happy end for this war. For the Dutch citizens, but for the Jews, the situation wasn't that good because 95% of the Jewish community perished during the Second World War. And this is the greatest amount of community that actually not by numbers, by percentage. So a few days after the liberation, Aunt Nell was calling my mother and said, Maria, please come. You have guests.
US, yeah, so, and US left the Jewish people too long. The United States left the Jewish people there too long.
Uh,
Not just you.
Huh?
Not just you.
okay, what's your
Yes, my, dad's grandmother, is Russian. And, they came on a boat to the United States.
Oh, where?
Russia.
Russia? So,
So, yeah, my parents were lucky that they were able to get here in their 20s.
okay, so, her aunt Nell, called her and, she said, you have guests. And she was, got into the living room and she saw, Jan and niece and Tante To and another woman with them. And she was so happy to see her dad and she hugged him and kissed him and again and she said, I missed you so much and you come to take me, aren't you? And he said, well, your manners. Why don't you say hello to this woman? And she said, hello, man. And she said, hello, Salka. So she said, why you call me like that? My name is not Salka, my name is Maria Enderman. And she told her, no, now the war is ended, and you can use your name, Salka. And I know your name because I gave it to you. I'm your mother. And she said, no, I don't want to be Salka Levin, I want to go with Miss and Yan. And she said, but Miss and Yan said, no, now you have a mother, you will go with your mother. And she said, I don't want to go. And she ran to her room and shut the door and was crying. And this woman, that was actually Lenny, got into the room and she said, I really, really am your mother. And she told her, if you are my mother, do you still have my Passover dress? And she said, yes, of course. A red velvet with white color. And she said, yes, was my Passover dress. And actually it's confirmed that she is her mother. She took her on a bicycle, put her behind, and started to pedal through the wind back to Den Haag. And this voyage took them some a day or so. And finally they arrived to the house in Den Haag. And there was Bertie, and there was Shlomo, her two old brothers. And they were so happy to see her, and they were hugging and kissing, and there was an endless happiness that they survived, all of them. But my grandmother, she knew that in her deep of her heart, she knew that she ain't gonna see her husband Leo again. And they moved to Beethoven. Beethoven, it's a small town near Amsterdam. There was a very special school there, and she wanted children to educate there. and she rent a house with another family in this town. And the children started to go to the school. And Bertie and Shlomo, day by day, went to the train station to wait until Leo will arrive. They somehow made this like a ceremony, or I don't know. They every afternoon they are waiting in the train station to wait for the train that will bring Leo back. And after 6 months, he arrived.
In 6 months, they came every day at the same time to wait for him at the
Exactly.
train station.
Exactly. And my grandmother, sorry, my grandmother was actually she was at home, and she was in a very bad mood. My mother was there with her, and another woman that they will rent the house together. And that son of her rushed in to the house and said, Tante Lenny, come out immediately. There's a big surprise for you. He said, Tante Lenny, come about. It's a very big surprise. Come get out. And she said, leave me alone. Said, no, please come. You must come. Because they told them not to tell her that Leo was coming. And he said, please come back, come out, come out, please come out. There's a big surprise. I'm with Bertie and Shlomo. And she said, okay, I will come. And she went out and she saw Bertie and Shlomo, and in the middle, Leo. And she ran to him and she was shouting and she fainted out.
Wow.
She fainted out because it was a miracle. And she said, after that, she said, we also died. This is a miracle. We had a mem letter on our forehead. And Bertie asked, what is mem? And she said, mem is from the word mazal. We were lucky. My mother went out and with her mother, and she saw everything that happened there. But she was distracted. She didn't want to be involved with this happening. She didn't understand. She didn't, of course, recognize them. And he was sitting in the living room, and he said, Saka, come to me. And she came, very suspiciously. And he said, I'm Leo, I'm your father. I believe that you don't remember me, but believe me, I am your father. And he took her and put her on his knees. And she remembered, she told us that I remember that his bones pinned me through the pants. He was so thin. At the first, he was a thin man. He was very tall and thin man. But at the end of the war, he was much thinner. And he was, and he took a cigar and he smoked cigar. And the smell of the cigar reminded her that he is her father. And she hugged him and she was, איך אומרים להתרפד?
To cuddle with him.
Praise him.
Yeah. He braced her, she braced him. And they were in this position and the smell was so lovely, so the smoke of the flavor of the cigar was sweet and it was actually a reminder that it was so deep in her mind that she realized that her mother. Her father, yeah. Anyway, so this is the picture of Leo, my mother, Shlomo, her brother, and Bertie at the end of the war. They decided that they will adopt a few children that wasn't lucky as they were, that their parents didn't survive, and they will adopt them, and they will take them with them together to Israel. That's what the dream was, to take a few, maybe 2 or 3 children. And they made a connection with the resistance. And they asked them if they have an orphan children that they can adopt. And I'll do the spoiler. This is what's happened.
2, 3.
Well, we're checking it.
At the beginning, Shlomo, Menachem. This is Menachem. He was hidden, and he was captured, and he was sent to a camp, and he survived. And as you see, he was a really warm boy. He was like 15 years of age in this time. This is Belty, okay? This is my mother. This is my mother. This is Shlomo. After they brought Menachem, they bring Margalit. That's actually behind Lenny here. And Margalit found out that she has a brother. This boy, Bobby. And they brought him too. And then Menachem discovered that he had left 2 brothers, Rudy and Emmy. Yeah, there she is. Rudy and Emmy are Menachem's brother and sister. And then they brought another member. This was Max. And they brought not Neema, Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yael discovered that she had two brothers. Meira and Nathan. And Lenny gave birth to another child. This is yet that she was a volunteer that come with her with them. And I forgot her name. Also, she was a volunteer from a Jewish family that she was she came from Israel to teach them Hebrew. It wasn't effective at all. But they were trying to educate the Jewish. Anyway, at the meantime, between the war until 1948 and 49, that they were made Aliyah to Israel. They were living this Bet Aliyah. They called it Bet Aliyah because they want to make Aliyah. And it wasn't a foster family. It's too big to be a foster family, but it wasn't also an orphan. Wasn't an orphan.
Orphanage.
Because it's too small. So it's actually somehow fell in the middle. But Leo and Lenny made an official apothropy for all those children. And they were traveling. They of course rented a big house in Beethoven, and all the children went to this special open school that was until today. This special school is there. It's unbelievable. We've been there. We visited there. It's unbelievable. And and they took everyone with them, and they made Aliyah to Israel. And this is 50 years later. This is my mother. This is David. This is Shlomo. This is Annie. This is Margaret. This is Meira. This is Belki. This is Menachem. And this is and this is Tirza. Tirza is the last daughter of Lenny and Leo, and she was totally sovereign. She was born in Israel. Lenny was the age of 45 when she gave birth to her. This is Yael, and this is Nathan. And as you see, they're holding the picture that I showed you before. This one. They're almost in the same position. Some are missing, of course, the parents. And this was 50 years later. My mother grew up in a kibbutz, Givat Brenner, with Shlomo and Lenny, with Shlomo and Lenny and Leo, and all the other small children. The eldest teenagers went to another kibbutz as sort of pioneers. They started a new kibbutz, and this is my mother, about 16 years of age, working in the kibbutz. Now, this is the original Levin family in 1963. This is Leo, Lenny, Bertie, Shlomo, my mother, Miriam, Nikki, and David, and Tirsa. This is the last picture of Lenny and Leo together at 1967. About less than 3 months after this picture was taken, my grandfather died from lung cancer. And Lenny lived until 1987. She was something like 80 years of age. This is my father. My mother and my father. Mickey, how come Miriam become Mickey? This is another story, because when she was drafted to the army, and after she was put in Elat, and she was on the plane to Elat. It's in the south of Israel, and the guy told her, "What's your name?" And she said, "Miriam." He said, "It's not an Israeli name." And she said, she asked him, "So what do you suggest?" And she said, "Mickey. Mickey, it's much easier and lighter." And she said, "Okay, I changed my name so many times. I will be Mickey. It's good for you." And she became Mickey. And she became Mama Mickey and Grandma Mickey. And she became totally Israeli, because you couldn't hear you couldn't hear
The accent.
the accent, the Dutch accent, which is very unique accent. She got rid of it, and she knew people like a mother tongue, and it was like a mother language, and she wrote poetry, and she wrote a book about a story, and this is last in 2001. My father, my mother, my eldest sister Efrat, my eldest brother Josie, me, Ranny, and my little sister Hagi. This is me plus with 50 pounds. Questions?
I have a good job, thank you. Just saying good.
Any question?
So your mother passed away in 2021?
The mother passed away in 2021.
What? Yeah, passed away in 2000. This is the last picture. Yeah.
And the wedding of her
At the wedding of granddaughter.
pandemic.
Do you consider the extended family, all of the orphans that your parents brought over from Netherlands, like brothers, sisters, cousins, big aunts,
Yeah, totally, yes. It's there was first of all Israel is a very small country.
So you're related to everyone there.
Yeah, and we were, for us, there were uncles and aunts and cousins and nieces and it's a family. We don't really actually say who is who, and when they arrived to the kibbutz and the story was revealed, they are starting to ask who is who is the real children, who is adopted, and they never told nobody, and it was tradition every year at around the day of the when my grandfather died, everybody get together, make a huge picnic with all the children and the grandchildren, and playing sports, do sports, and playing, and this is the kind of memorial to this gymnastic teacher that he became this huge, he made this huge family. And until today, once a year, maybe once in 2 years, it depends how the situation is very good, so nobody is meeting nobody. Of course, in the WhatsApp, we have the tribe group.
Did any of them go back to the Netherlands?
Yes. Second,
Have you taken the trip to visit your
yes,
parents?
yes, of course, yeah, with my father
With them?
and my mother. Uh, um, um, Rudy left to live in the Netherlands after he was graduate a very it's a very high art school in Israel. He was an artist, and he went back to Netherlands, and then he got married to a German woman, and they will live in Germany. And when we once at around this time, 1995, we were in Germany and we visited him, and he was very interesting man, very colorful, and we talked hours upon hours. It was very, very exciting. This Max also went back to the Netherlands after graduate high school. He couldn't. He didn't cope with the Israeli style. And
What's not?
mentalism. Mentality.
Yeah.
The Israeli mentality.
Right.
It couldn't focus. And
Yeah.
and she was living Arad, somehow, she didn't, was part of this tribe, but, because she was a volunteer, and they come with her to Israel and so on. And she went also with the teenagers to this, to be a pioneer, and to make a new kibbutz. And, and, and her, we don't, she also wasn't, part of the tribe. But the tribe now, about, 80 people.
Then you're gonna do like a tree, family tree. You need the whole ball.
Yeah. I really want to say thank you. Thank you so much. It was so interesting, so emotional. I really found, a very emotional and interesting part in the questions of your, mother, to her mother and to her father, to, be sure that they are their parents. So it was this dress, unique dress, and it was this smell that was like so familiar and so deep in her bones that this was to ensure her, okay, those are my parents.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how you understand by your deep emotions and memories and figure who are the people.
For Bertie and Shlomo, it wasn't, how, that they remember the parents
Right.
during the war. But
Immediately.
Shaki was 3 years old, really young.
Yeah, yes.
And she became so. She became so deep with the story that she is the young of her parents. So,
Right.
so she forgot.
Yes, yes. So thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Paul. I knew that it will be so interesting for you. Yes, so thank you.
Very interesting.
Yes, right? Yeah. His family is, he has a story.